about this concept of and all the people watching, the thing that I want to talk about, this is something I'm obsessed with, and I always play this mental game with myself, and I've referenced this before, but if you guys have not seen the show Ozark, first of all, phenomenal. Shout out Jason Bateman and Ruth Langmore. I don't even know her real name, but she kills it. But this whole the concept of in this show, like from the moment it starts till the moment it finishes, it's desperation, right? Every single from episode 1, they're in a bind. Their backs against the wall, and it's not like they're going to go bankrupt. It's like they're going to get killed by the cartel, right? And it's amazing to see the stuff that they pull off. It's amazing to see the stuff that they eliminate out of their lives, and how they come together and they put these deals together. And what's crazy is when people are desperate, and I don't mean desperate like, because I always say, hey, don't be desperate when you sell. This is a different desperate. This is a good desperate. This is a desperate like I got to hit my goals desperate, because if I don't hit my goals, like something's wrong. Like I can't breathe desperate, not desperate on the phone. So this whole concept of like, if you had, and I a couple of weeks ago, I had Ashley and I had Marcus on, and we talked about like, hey, if there was a gun to your mom's head and somebody said, hey, I need you to get to 10K by the end of the month, you'd figure out a way, because the downside is too great. So if it's possible under those circumstances, why aren't we doing it now? So the game, I play these games with myself all the time. And 2 days ago, my goal, I've not been shy about this. I want to get to $1 million a month. Period. End of story. And I've been saying it's a goal. I've been saying it's a goal. I've been saying it's a goal. I'm like, hey, why don't I start playing a game with myself and realize like, hey, it's no longer a goal, but if I don't hit it, then X, Y, Z is going to happen. What if I had a gun to my head? What if my family was going to get killed by the end of the month if I didn't hit $1 million? I guarantee I'd figure out a way to do it. So why not do it right now? So what I want to talk about today is when back in 2020, I got a couple of these flat fee deals. I knew I was onto something, and then I started pre-selling, and I got my first pre-sold deal, and I realized, I'm like, dude, that was really easy. Like it wasn't a hard close. I think I can get a lot of these. And I set this goal for myself, and I was like, I wonder if I can add $10,000 of new business in 30 days. And right now, that sounds laughable because I've done it multiple times. But at the time, it seemed like such a stretch goal. It seemed like, to me, getting to $1 million a month right now seems like such a stretch. And right now, it's kind of funny because I've done it multiple times, and it's just math. So I want to talk today about like, if somebody came to you and said, hey, bro, you got 30 days and you got to go and replicate what you've done, and you got to go add $10,000 more business to your business of flat fee deals. Okay. And they have to be lead gen. You have to own the asset. What would you do? Like, what would your first steps be? What would your next steps be? And by the way, guys, B is kind of on the hot seat because I've had the day to think about it. I've had the day to ponder over it because it's my topic. And I text B about 6 minutes ago. B's already got some ideas. So he's good to go. So first of all, before you go into that, I want to ask you, when did you have your $10,000 30-day sprint? Like, because in the last 6 months, you killed it, dude.
Yeah, if it wasn't in December, January time, then it definitely was in April.
Okay.
April or May. Between April and May.
Okay.
If it wasn't between December and January, but I know for sure between April and May I didn't.
Okay. So in a 30-day period, you have brought on at least $10,000 in new flat fee deals. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done it. Great. So you qualify. So you were going to say something though before we get started.
I was just gonna say, like, I've scrambled some notes of what to say, but they're a little over the place. I've got some arrows and whatnot, so if it's a little off, like sometimes whatever I should have said in the beginning, I might say it in the end.
Totally.
So fine. I do apologize for that.
Just that's fine.
Try your best to follow up.
Okay, so I want to know, like, and again, my answer is going to be a little more thought out because I've been thinking about it today. So I want to know, bro, if first of all, I want to know this, before you had done that, did you think that seemed like this huge, crazy, insane goal? I imagine it probably did because you were only doing 4 to 7K.
Yeah, no, the thing is, okay, I knew it was possible because you've obviously done it. And I think you said one time you added even more than that.
24K.
It was August.
August
of last year. Yeah. So I knew it was possible, but I didn't think it would. I was thinking maybe at least a year or 2 years from now, but not this quick. Definitely not this quick. I was like, there's no way.
Okay. So how, like, what change? I think I know the answer to this, because I'm going to say what I think was the change. I was going to say, what changed that for you? But dude, you know what changed it? I believe for you is I remember when you got that first deal, flat fee deal. I think it was like, maybe it was your first or second. It was like a 24-hour deal, right? And you woke up at like 3 a.m. and you got this deal and you were going to go skiing and you were talking shit. You're like, bro, get your ass up. Like, I just got a deal. And I remember like something changed in you. And I think what happened is like in your head, I had been talking about 10K months, 24K months. And you're like, probably thought, oh, that's a big deal. It's doable, but it's big. Once you realize that, okay, this process, it can happen in 24 hours. I can do that 10 times. I can do that 5 times. I can do that, whatever. I think that's when in your head, you're like, dude, this guy actually ain't that impressive. Because then you started talking to Max.
So I think one of the bigger ones too was I realized, I don't know why, this is not something I read, but just automatically in my mind, getting a deal is going to take 7 days. That's what I was like, okay, it's going to take time. You have to build that relationship, blah, blah, blah. But then I realized.
You thought that, right? That's what you thought.
I thought that. That's what I thought. Yeah. And then I realized, I was like, I sent 3 leads in a day. I was like, okay, well, now it's time for a meeting. But it felt off. It felt weird. Like we should probably talk for, it's kind of like with with a girl. You can't just, take her out back to your place right away. So it's like, I feel like I feel like I'm rushing the relationship in a way. So, but I went for it anyways. I was like, hey, well, why don't we have a meeting? And he said, okay, yeah, I can do tonight at 10 p.m. And I was like, oh, I was saying not that fast. We can do tomorrow. But in my head, I was like, why am I going to say no to that? So anyways, it clicked for me when I closed that deal within 24 hours. I was like, okay, there's no need to build trust over 7 days. There's no need to make this longer than it is. There's no need to talk on Friday and then say, hey, why don't we do a meeting on Monday or Tuesday? There's nothing wrong with Saturday or Sunday. Business owners are business owners. They're not employee. They're not tied to like a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. So when I realized that, that's when I was just like, okay, I could do this a lot. I could do this a lot faster than I thought.
Dude, you know what I love watching people in Flat Fee Mastery? They come in, I say, hey, I need you to watch this video and set your goals. They send me their goals and it's always like some like good number, but like 10K, whatever. They get their first deal and all of a sudden they're like, yo, I'm changing my goal. Because they realize that like, it doesn't take a certain amount of time. Like Eugene Song, he was on here last week. Shout out to Eugene. He was sending people leads for 2 weeks. He thought it was going to take 2 weeks to close a deal. But when you realize, hey, you can close a deal in 24 hours, all of a sudden you're like, dude, I could do a lot of damage in 30 days, a lot of damage.